One of the most prevalent themes on my channel and in the self-help community in general is being on your purpose. Being on your purpose is the highest, most pure form of self-love that there is, because you're embracing who you came here to be. You're embracing your true authentic self, and that's something that I talk about all the time. If you want to be confident in yourself and get the best that life has to offer, you have to be who you are. You can't be confident in yourself if you're not being yourself. And you can't be yourself if you're not on your purpose. Now, I understand that finding your purpose is much easier said than done. And the reason why I know that is because I was once that person who didn't know why I was on this earth. Okay, and the feeling of not having a purpose or not knowing your purpose, because everyone has a purpose. Okay, but the feeling of not knowing your purpose is a very scary feeling. Okay, especially for all of the people who just graduated high school. I'm looking at you, being 17, 18 years old and realizing that you're in the real world now. You are in control of your life. Nobody can make you do anything by law anymore. Okay, you have to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. And while that's a very liberating feeling to have that freedom, you have to understand that having freedom and power comes with a lot of responsibility. And you are responsible for creating the life that you desire. But first, you have to figure out what you want out of life. And in order to do that, you have to find yourself. And that is the first thing that you can do to find your purpose. Okay, if you find yourself, if you go within and figure out who you truly are, your purpose will fall right into your lap. See, a lot of people, they're so enamored with the idea of figuring out what they want to do in life that they completely forget to take some time to figure out who they are in life. And a lot of people, especially in that age range, 18 to 24, you don't really know who you are because you're conditioned. Okay, the conditioning runs so deep that you've lost your sense of self. Your sense of self comes from other people's perceptions of you because you've been brought up in those environments where, everything that you do is looked at under a microscope. In school, you'll be subjected to the most judgment you'll ever be subjected to in your life. And not only that, but you're inheriting other people's limitations and their beliefs and their perceptions on what can be accomplished in this world. So that's why you have to take some time to really do some soul searching. Okay, get off social media. Isolate yourself for a little bit. I'm not saying that you can't go out with your friends. You should do that, but take some time to be alone. Don't run from the inner work. Okay, because you can run, but you can't hide. Now, in order to find yourself, you have to learn to stop comparing yourself to other people. Okay, that's the next thing that you need to do to find your purpose. Stop comparing yourself to other people. I know that we live in an age, in a generation, where it is perfectly feasible to be 17 and be a self-made millionaire. It is possible, but don't compare yourself to those people. Okay, that's something that I did, and that's something that I definitely regret, because even though it put some ambition into me, it made me even more insecure than I already was. Seeing people that were my age who were already making, 6 figures a month and thinking that me working at, PacSun or H&M or working a regular job for somebody in that age range is wrong. That definitely did something to me mentally. But obviously in hindsight, I know that a lot of that insecurity was misguided because I was looking at like the top 0.0001%. And I'm not saying that you can't be a part of that. Okay, everyone watching this video, mathematically speaking, can be a part of that. But what I will say is you shouldn't compare yourself to other people and base your desires on what other people are doing in their lives. You should find your desires from within. Okay, you shouldn't look at that social media star who's living the life and think that's what I want because they have it. You need to figure out what you want, because a lot of times your desires deep down have nothing to do with ambition. They have nothing to do with things, material items. A lot of times they're rooted in the impact that you want to make on this world, because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. People won't remember the things that you had or the money that you made. They'll remember the impact that you made and the legacy that you create for yourself. Now, another reason why you shouldn't compare yourself to other people is because it is very possible, especially in this day and age, it's very possible that your purpose has not been invented yet. Okay, me being a YouTuber, this is so new that it was literally invented during my life. And yet somehow I'm already able to make money from it. I'm already able to make a living from it. You have to understand that your desires may be so comprehensive that they haven't been invented yet. There's no means for acquiring them yet. And that's okay, because you might be the one to bring those desires into fruition and carve that path for millions of other people to follow. Okay, even though there are millions of YouTubers out there, I could have never envisioned what I'm doing right now. The fact that I get to make a living literally just talking to the camera, that's something that I couldn't have envisioned even 2 years ago. I thought that I would have to do public interviews, pranks, I would have to do fake content in order to make a living with this camera. But it turns out that the universe had bigger plans for me. There was something out there that was even greater than I could have imagined. There was a subconscious desire that needed to be fulfilled. And I could not have envisioned it. I couldn't have pictured it because it wasn't really realistic in my world. Even though other people were already doing it, I didn't see it as something that I could do until I did it. Now, this is why following your intuition is very important. This is something that I very much advocate for. And I know it can be very difficult, especially if you're a logical thinker. But you have to understand that logic is limiting. If you only think logically about things, you are creating your life based on things that you've already seen. But like I said earlier, your profession and your purpose might not exist yet. Okay, and in order to bring that into fruition, in order to be the person that creates something that didn't previously exist, you have to follow your intuition. Okay, I've used this example a few times before, but imagine trying to, tell people from the 1600s about smartphones. Okay, they would literally think that you're crazy. Okay, because it's something that they couldn't even imagine. They could not fathom the idea of being able to talk to people across the world and communicate in the ways that we do. Okay, try explaining YouTube to them. Try explaining YouTube to somebody from the 1920s. Okay, that's literally just 100 years ago. So you really have to think about that. How did these things come into fruition? They came into fruition through intuition. Okay, you have to learn to trust your intuition. Trust that gut feeling. It's not always going to make sense. It's not always going to be logical. That's where faith has to come in. You have to learn to be faithful. Okay, and when I say faith, I don't mean that you have to be religious or anything like that. If you are religious, then power to you. There's nothing wrong with that. But by faith, what I mean is you have to believe in something that you cannot physically see. Anything that you see around you that is man-made once lived in somebody's mind. It started off as an idea in somebody's mind. Okay, we are capable of much more than we believe that we are, because we have the backing of higher power, of infinite intelligence. Now, what you believe infinite intelligence to be, that's up to you. You serve the faith that you feel resonates best with you. But it's important to have some degree of faith. If nothing else, at least have faith in yourself. Have faith in your ability to bring infinite potential into reality. Okay, everything is a thought until it's created. And once it's created, it seems logical. Smartphones, they seem logical. But like I said, if you tried to explain the concept of a smartphone to somebody in the 1920s, they would think that you're crazy. So you can't inherit other people's limitations because they're working based on what they've seen. They're working based on the feelings that they have. Okay, not everybody is meant to see your vision. That's why it's your vision. You have to trust and have faith that your vision is there for a reason. If you weren't capable of accomplishing the things that you want out of life, you wouldn't have the vision within you. Okay, why else would you have that vision? It's because you're meant to accomplish those things and you're capable of accomplishing those things. But you have to learn to follow your intuition and trust and have faith in that gut feeling. Now, the next thing that you can do to find your purpose is to conduct self-analysis to find your gifts. Now, about a year ago, March of 2020, this was a time that I was doing a lot of introspection. I knew that the public interviews and the entertainment content wasn't for me anymore. But at the same time, I didn't know what else I had to offer. So what did I do? I literally opened up a journal and wrote down everything that I know about myself. Okay, you have to have a great deal of self-awareness in order to find your purpose. And that goes back to the first point. You have to find yourself and your purpose will find you. Okay, you have to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are and understand how you react in certain situations, and you have to be objective about it. If you have to, you can ask your friends and family questions about you and things that they think that you're gifted at so that you can develop an objective view. But also, you have to trust your intuition and know that the gifts that live within you are there for a reason. For example, I know that I'm a good writer. Other people didn't necessarily know that because I never displayed my talent. But I had that vision within me, and I've used my gifts, my other gifts, in terms of self-expression and being able to pick up on certain topics very quickly and process that information and make it easily understandable for other people. I've been able to use those gifts to create a platform of now 66,000 people and create a platform on which I can promote my writing, okay, and any other ventures that I want to get into. Now, 2 years ago, I could not have seen this. I could not have seen this at all. But I followed my intuition and I conducted self-analysis, self-examination, and that's still something that I do regularly. You have to know who you are if you want to find your purpose. You have to figure out your gifts. Okay, your gifts are the things that you do the best with the least amount of effort. I know that I can take a year off from writing and still come back and be a very good writer because it's a gift that I have. I know that I can take a year off from playing basketball and still go out and be able to jump out of the gym because it's a gift that I have. These are gifts that I have, okay? And I'm learning to embrace all of my gifts and use my platform to promote all of my gifts and use my gifts to inspire other people with those same gifts, to show them that they can do whatever they want to do because we have access to resources that allow us to live off of our gifts. We no longer live in an age where we need to work at jobs that we do not like to make a living so that we can make time for our hobbies. We live in a time where we can make a living off of our hobbies. Now, yes, you might have to get a job or do certain things that you don't necessarily want to do in order to get to that point, and that's okay. But understand that you can't place any limitations on yourself. And that's the next thing that you need to do in order to find your purpose. Stop placing limitations on yourself. A lot of you inherit limitations from other people, especially from older generations. People that didn't have access to the tools that we have. Okay, there's a lot of people that tell me that they want to be YouTubers, but their parents want them to go to college because their parents don't understand that YouTube is a viable career option. This is something that you can do and do it full time as long as you have something to offer. And that's why you have to know yourself. And I'm not saying that everyone's purpose is to be a YouTuber. This isn't for everyone. But what I am saying is if you know deep down in your heart that that's what you want to do, or if you want to do music or anything that you feel goes off the traditional path, or even anything that is part of the traditional path, you need to do that thing. You need to aim as high as you possibly can. I'm going to tell you guys something that my dad told me a while back that changed my life. Never tell yourself no. Let them tell you no. But I'm going to add to that. Don't let them tell you no either. Okay, you go out and you figure out what it is that you want to do in life, and you go and do that thing. You don't let anybody stop you. And especially, don't stop yourself from doing it. Don't let your fear of failure stop you from chasing your dreams. Because, like I said, if you weren't capable of achieving your vision, the vision wouldn't be there. Okay, so you have to stop placing limitations on yourself and understand that your true purpose in this life, for everyone watching this, our purpose as spiritual beings is to expand. That's why we're here. We're here to expand. Okay, we are here to expand infinite intelligence, infinite perspective, by being who we are. Your experience is unique. You are the first person to ever be you, to ever have your exact experience. Nobody has ever lived life through your perspective before. You are the first and only one. And in doing so, you are expanding. Now you have these visions within you. You have these gut feelings within you that tell you that you are destined for great things. Don't ignore that.